First of all, allowed me to welcome you to the Romanian Pavilion, distinguished guests, distinguished friends. It is my very great honor, and I'm so proud that this event could have been organized and allowed me to welcome His Excellency Hazza Al-Mansouri, the astronaut, the first and the only astronaut of United Arab Emirates. And of course, our friend Dumitru Prunariu, Dorin, it is a very great honor, and I would like to thank you once again for making this effort and to join us together. Our first and only astronaut. And this event, it is important for us, not because of the bilateral relationship with United Arab Emirates, but let me tell you that when we've been kids, we've been always dreaming about cosmos, about rockets, about flying in the cosmos. So even though we couldn't do that, we haven't done it, but at least we have two representatives of something very special. They've been so lucky to be out in the space and to see us from above and to turn this in something very special in their life and to try to convert this in the benefit of humankind. I think it is a unique opportunity for us to listen to them, and after their presentation, also to put some questions, and maybe we will find out some special things, special, I don't know, activities which has been done during their flight in the space. So it is my very great honor to give the floor to Dorin Prunariu to give us his presentation. Dorin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I welcome you here as a host being in the Romanian Pavilion. I want to say a few words about us, the astronauts and cosmonauts and taikonauts and spationautes, how the French name them. We all are people with a special training, flying into space and accomplishing scientific experiments, missions, on behalf of our nations and on behalf of the international community. Some similarities. Me and Hazza, we were trained in the same place, Star City, near Moscow. Both of us, we flew with Russian spacecrafts to an international space station. So, the space station I flew on, it's Salyut 6, was the first one where international crew flew in the framework of the Intercosmos program at that time. It was in 1981. Hazza flew on board the International Space Station, much wider one, much bigger one, together with some other international astronauts. I flew for 7 days, 20 hours and some minutes. He flew for 7 days, 20 hours, 19 and something. Yes, that's true. Also similarities. I can tell you that when we fly into the outer space, we became not only citizens of our countries, but became citizens of the world. And after the space flight, when we see the Earth from above and understand what it means for humanity, for us, for the next generations, we have a common vision. How to protect it and how to make things better on Earth, how to cooperate and collaborate to develop the science, technology, and to develop our countries. In the same time, try to understand. I'm a Christian, an Orthodox. He's a Muslim. And there are some other religions of people flying together into the outer space. When you know each other, when you learn a little bit about the history of our nations together, about the religion of each other's, we understand much better what means civilization, what means humanity, what means cooperation. We become friends, and we are a good example for the other communities in the world how to cooperate, how to work together for the benefit of the humanity. So, now after this introduction, I want to make you a presentation, and then after my presentation, Hazza will have his presentation, and of course at the end we may answer your questions, and taking some pictures together, and so on. So, what drives the people to explore? What drives them to scientific adventures of human knowledge? The curiosity, it's one of the main criteria. We are curious. We want to find out more about our Earth, about our existence, about the solar system, and about the universe. We always try to answer a very fundamental question. What is the origin of life on Earth? And we explore. Now, by instance, we understand that maybe a few millions of years ago, on Mars existed vegetation, maybe a civilization, who knows? We have to discover it. A short history, how all these things began. You know, Yuri Gagarin was the first person into the outer space on 12th of April, 1961. This year, we celebrated 60 years from his spaceflight. By a resolution of the United Nations, 12th of April, it's declared the International Day of Piloted Space Flights. The first woman into space flew in 1963, Valentina Tereshkova. The first EVA, extravehicular activity, was done by Alexei Leonov in March 1965. He went out for 12 minutes, a very close to tragical event, but he succeeded and he's a hero. Unfortunately, he died about 2 years ago. He was a good friend of us. The first flight around the moon with a crew, Apollo 8, in December 1968. And the first picture from far of our Earth seen from the vicinity of the moon. This picture became a historical one because this picture opened the eyes to anyone about what means our Earth from far. It's a unique planet. It's the planet of all of us. It's our home. And at the same time, some of the persons, industry, and so on, affect very negatively the Earth. The first junction into the outer space was done in 1969 by two Russian spacecrafts, Soviet spacecrafts, Soyuz 4 and Soyuz 5. One of the members of the crew went out and entered the other spacecraft, and such way they started to understand how to dock two space objects into space and to organize the flights of the space stations. Apollo 11, of course, was the outstanding event that marked the step of the humans on another celestial body, on the moon. By chance, by the proposal of the Moon Village Association, I'm part of this association, this year the General Assembly of the UN approved 20 July as the International Moon Day. Every year from now on 20 July, the landing date, we will organize scientific events, cultural events, to allow the people to understand much better what is the moon, why do we go to the moon, why do we explore the moon, and what means all these things for the development of humanity. The really first space station was launched in April 71 by the Soviets, Salyut 1. And the first crew aboard Salyut 1, Dobrovolsky, Volkov, and Patsaev, the first crew who flew on board this spacecraft, they have a tragic re-entry into the atmosphere, the desermatization of the spacecraft, and they die. Was a sacrifice for the future development of the space stations. So, the international collaboration. We speak about collaboration in the framework of our organizations, our countries. The really first cooperation into space was during the period of the Cold War in 1975, when one American crew flying on an Apollo spacecraft joined into space a Russian crew flying on a Soyuz spacecraft in the framework of the Apollo-Soyuz project. They met, they worked together, they became friends, and I tell you openly, Tom Stafford, who was the head, the commander of the American crew, and Alexei Leonov, who was the commander of the Russian crew, became so good friends, both of them generals in their armies, enemies in a way. They became friends and they visited each other quite every year. Even at the funerals of Alexei Leonov, Tom Stafford, who is old now and moves with difficulties, came to Moscow to take part in the funerals as a homage to Alexei Leonov. So, another very important event, the first reusable spacecraft, Space Shuttle. This space shuttle was launched on 12th of April 1981, exactly 20 years after the first person flew into the outer space, Yuri Gagarin. And now about the international cooperation in the framework of the Eastern European countries. I flew in the framework of this space program, the Intercosmos program. The Intercosmos program trained the first cosmonauts from other countries, that's Soviet Union and United States, and the first non-Russian, non-American astronaut was Vladimir Remek from the Czech Republic. So the Intercosmos program was started in 1967. It was an agreement between the partner countries of the Soviet Union at that time. And Romania joined the program in 1969. We developed institutions, we trained scientists, we took part in scientific programs, launched into the outer space with Russian rockets, on board space laboratories, and eventually we trained cosmonauts from our countries, and from each country taking part in the program, one cosmonaut flew into the outer space, accomplishing very complex experiments that could be accomplished automatically. You see Vladimir Remek here, the first European cosmonaut. After his flight, after 1990, he became a member of the European Parliament. Twice, he was the ambassador of the Czech Republic in Russia. And here is the group. Okay, not yet. The second group of Intercosmos program. I'm the highest one on the right. My backup is the second one from the left, Dumitru Dediu. And they were two groups of Intercosmos program. The first group included at that time Czechoslovakia, Poland, and the German Democratic Republic. They started the training in 1976 and flew in 71. And the second group was formed by Bulgaria, Hungary, Vietnam, Cuba, Mongolia, Romania. We started the training in 78, Vietnam in 79, later on. And the last flight was my flight in 1981. The second group flew in order according to the Russian alphabet. And then the Russian trained astronauts from France, India, Syria, Afghanistan, Japan, England, and so on. The first Western cosmonaut flown with the Russians was Jean-Luc Chrétien, and he flew in 1982. In 1981, after 3 years of training, I became the first Romanian cosmonaut. I flew on board Soyuz 40 spacecraft and Salyut 6 space laboratory. This picture of Salyut 6 together with Soyuz T4, the spacecraft of the main crew on board the space station, was taken by me on May 22 when we undocked from the space station, turned around to take some pictures to see how it looks after about 4 years of exploration. A few things about the history of my space flight. So I dreamed to fly from the childhood. I really dreamed. I closed the eyes, and sometimes I had the impression that I wave the hands, I could fly like birds. Okay, it didn't happen, but in my mind, the idea of flying always stays. I started with my first vehicle. This is in 57. Okay, one moment. The first picture on the left, it's in 57 when I was 5 years old. In the yard of the house where my parents with us lived. Me, I have a sister and younger sister. In 65, building air models. I won some contests. I'm the guy from the left down there. And when I was in the high school, I joined a rocket club named the Messengers of the Space, of the Outer Space. Just by hazard, they give us this name to this club. And we built rockets, big rockets, command desk, and so on. I'm also the left person in that row. Nobody could believe that 11 years after this picture was taken, I will become the first Romanian cosmonaut. And a coincidence. We took part with all this equipment in a national contest named Mini Technicus at that time. And I was awarded with the ID of the contest with the number 103. After 11 years, I became the 103rd person of the world flying into the outer space. Okay, in 1977, we started the selection in Romania. Mainly from the civilian people. I was an airspace engineer, just graduating. The airspace engineering faculty is the logo of the faculty. I graduate in Bucharest. And from the military staff, engineers, was only one person selected, Dumitru, who was my backup. I was a civilian one, but proposed after the selection to become an officer. I became a major lieutenant in 1978, just before starting the training in Russia. And I retired as a general of the Air Force. And some images from the selection process in Romania. It's me there with doctors' equipment. Started the training in 78 in Star City. Me and Popov during the lessons in Star City. Then ready for parachuting jumps. In a weightlessness on board an airplane, at that time was Tupolev 104, a very old airplane, and we flew on a parabola, and for 25 seconds we have weightlessness. And here, me and Popov during the training in Star City, in front of the simulators. And here, complex training in case of the falling down on the sea from the outer space. I would say landing, but land means ground. Okay, landing on the sea if you want. It's me and the future at that time, Hungarian cosmonaut Bertalan Farkas. Of course, with our families, me, my wife, Popov's family, and my 2 kids. So the youngest one here is just above there. Okay. Now it's 44 years old. And I can tell you that a few months before the flight, a sculpture Ivan Misko, it's he, made me a bust. And I said, no, Ivan, why now? When I will be a public person after the space flight, just make me the bust. No, 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 no. I have to make it now just in case. And then, I tell you openly, just my mind switched on and said, okay, could happen bad things during my space flight. And I acknowledged that there were many problems during many space flights and could happen anything. Also, me and my kids in Star City with the bust shown by Ivan Misko. Okay, and the start. 22 of May, me and Popov giving a report to a governmental commission and saying that we are ready for the space flight. We were selected from the 2 prepared crew for this space flight, the backup crew, Dumitru and Yuri Romanenko, and the main crew, Popov and me here in this picture. Up in the space in 8 minutes and 50 seconds, you are up into space, starting from the ground, reaching a speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour, and turning around the Earth in 1.5 hours. Also the image of Salyut 6 taken by me on 22nd of May. A Soyuz spacecraft, it's not ours, unfortunately. We didn't have solar panels on our spacecraft, just accumulators. And the first image inside the spacecraft, the space station, Vladimir Kovalyonok and Victor Savinuh formed the main crew, the basic crew, on board the space station. And the picture was taken by Popov, who is not in the picture. Anytime when we are 3, the 4th one takes the picture. And a few images from the board of the space station. Drinking water, eating medical experiments, always twice a day. I had a lot of sensors on my body and a lot of measurements sent by telemetry to the ground. And the place on the ceiling of the space station when I slept was the honorary place, I was told at that time. Okay, after 7 days, 20 hours and 42 minutes into the outer space, we landed in Kazakhstan. I accomplished during my space flights 15 Romanian experiments and some other experiments in collaboration with other countries of the Intercosmos program. Some experiments should be repeated several times to give important results, and we accomplished also some experiments for others. I flew for 5,226,000 kilometers at a maximum altitude of 384 kilometers. So a few words about what means space in Romania now. We had, when I was trained and when I flew into space, a Romanian Commission for Space Activities in the framework of an interministerial body. After 90, after all these geopolitical changes, we organized the Romanian Space Agency, a governmental institution under the Ministry of Research and Technology. So ROSA, as we know, Romanian Space Agency, was established in 1991 and reorganized as an extra budgetary institution in 1995. We live from our own projects. We live from our involvement in international projects, now in the framework of the European Space Agency, and in the framework of the national programs, several programs. So we are the representative institution and coordinator for all space activities in Romania, and we are also a financing agency for research in space, aeronautics, and security. We also represent the projects in the national security field. We have an internal program. We finance internal projects, STAR. We started it in 2012. And also we are representatives for interministerial group for security research. We are the public authority responsible for this research for specific national critical infrastructures, national coordinator for space situational awareness, GNSS programs, global navigation satellite systems. We are part of the Galileo program in Europe. We are part of the Copernicus program in Europe for high-resolution images from the outer space and so on. And develop and integrate activity in the framework of several centers. We have also our own research centers, and there are several centers. We finance the programs in the framework of these centers. We became members of the European Space Agency in 2011. We were the second Eastern European country becoming member of ESA after the Czech Republic. The first agreements with ESA for cooperation and for mutual understanding and involvement we signed in 1993, then the second one in 1999. I was responsible for the second one, so I signed together with the Prime Minister and General Director of ESA at that time. And also we are part of many other institutions, international organizations. By instance, Horizon Europe for Space, the new program that started this year and will be developed till 2027. And we take part in all big European programs through this Horizon Europe for Space. And so on and so on. I don't point out. Also, we are the representatives of Romania in the United Nations Committee of the Peaceful Uses for Outer Space. Here I may tell you that in 2004-2006, I was the chairman of the Scientific and Technical Subcommittee of this UN committee. In 2010-2012, I was the chairman of the full committee, elected at that time by 84 member states, members of this committee. And now the chairmanship of the committee till next year belongs also to Romania through the president of the Romanian Space Agency, Marius Ioan Piso. We take part in the scientific programs of NATO. We, Romania, are one of the countries of NATO, and we take part in the scientific activity of NATO through the Space Agency. Also part of the International Astronautical Federation. Of course, we are present here in Dubai just 2 months ago, taking part in the International Astronautical Congress. Also members of the International Academy of Astronautics through several members, and so on, and many, many others. I don't insist too much, and have agreements with some other countries, including China, including European countries. And through the European Space Agency, we are also considered members of the Artemis Agreement for flying to the moon. Cooperation with the United States, it's important also for us. We signed in 2000 a memorandum of understanding. Was me at that time representing Romania and signing the agreement. Also with NATO in 2005, and together with some other nations, we co-sponsor some NATO programs for research and technology. And we are part, also we have an agreement, a special agreement with the US Spacecom. It's the military organization who follows the space debris, asteroids, and so on, especially the space debris. We have 2 big antennas in Romania, and we are part of the international network for looking for space debris. Okay, now we are organized according to the so-named 3S, a new strategy for Romania. First S, it's science and technology. Second, it's services like telecommunications, Earth observation, position, navigation, and timing. Integrated applications like precision farming, telemedicine, disaster management, meteorology, and security. Security means planetary defense, space weather, space traffic management, disaster management, peacekeeping, arms control, illegal trafficking, demining, cybersecurity, and are monitoring the global issues. We develop horizontally through different institutions all these things and follow the actual trends of space development. Okay, coming back to my activity after the space flight. So for me, because they were 40 years from my space flight in May, and we celebrated in Romania, we had big events organized. For me, the activity after the space flight, because I was very young when I flew into space, 28 years and a half, I couldn't demonstrate before my space flight my abilities to do something more professionally. And I did everything after my space flight, after I became a public person. And I said I had to prove to my country, to my institutions, that the choice to send me into space was not just by hazard. Of course, I pursued my military career, but also I had civilian functions. In 1990, I was appointed as the head of the civil aviation in Romania. Then, as I told you before, I was the chairman of COPWAS. And here, just by hazard, when I presented in 2012 the report of COPWAS to the General Assembly, the chair of the fourth committee of the UN in the framework of the General Assembly was also a Romanian person, Simona Miculescu, an ambassador. I teach geopolitics in the framework of the Academy of Economical Studies. I take part in ESA activities, looking here representing ESA at an international event together with a former general director of ESA, Jean-Jacques Dordain. Also here I signed the agreements with the United States, the first agreement between ROSA and NASA in 2000. And I was also the ambassador of Romania in the Russian Federation starting with 2004. It's me, Vladimir Putin, the president, and Sergei Lavrov, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia. From that time, I lost 20 kilograms. If you don't recognize me in that picture. So, and also I take part in many other activities in the framework of the Association of Space Explorers. You see him here in Saudi Arabia, together with Sultan bin Salman Al Saud, the Saudi astronaut, a prince, and Soichi Noguchi. He's from Japan, but it's dressed properly for respect to the Saudis. And me, I was at that time the president of the Association of Space Explorers. Here, international conferences, interviews. This picture was taken in Washington, giving an interview. We celebrated many space activities in the framework of the UN. Is the celebration of the space flight of Valentina Tereshkova. I pursue also my military career. I retired as a two-star general, and then I received by the president the third star. And here, if you recognize Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's leading very successful shows on TV about space research, and so on. I became a member of the Romanian Academy. I'm a honorary member of many universities, not only in Romania, in the US, in Moldova. Here I'm with the former deputy administrator of NASA, Laurie Gardner, giving me the flag, who flew into the outer space on board the space shuttle, and the biography. I continue my activity in the framework of the United Nations. As a member of the Association of Space Explorers, much involved in the asteroid studies, I proposed to COPWAS in 2009, being already elected the chairman of COPWAS, but also being part of the Association of Space Explorers, a powerful report, Asteroid Threats, a Call for Global Response. A very well-done scientific report, which became a working document for the United Nations in the framework of the Working Group on Near-Earth Objects. And then, according to our work and according to the debates in the United Nations, they were organized two international organizations dealing with the astronauts that act now at the international level. And because I proposed the Asteroid Day in 2016 at the level of the UN, and it was approved that 30 of June, the day when in 1908 an asteroid fell down in Tungusk in Russia, and we have the first proofs and declarations of the people at that time, what was the event, how it happened, we selected 30 of June as the International Asteroid Day. We celebrate these things, we organize events, scientific, cultural, information for the great public, And for 24 hours, with the help of the RTL Luxembourg, we convey all this information throughout the world through their network. So this diploma, it's signed by Dr. Brian May, the guitarist from Queen, who is a doctor in astrophysics. He's one of the founders of the Asteroid Day. Danica Remy works in the US, in California, is the CEO of B612 Foundation, where a lot of astronauts are part, Rusty Schweikart, Ed Lu, and so on. Grigory Richter is a filmmaker who makes films about asteroids as well. And Rusty Schweikart, an old friend, is the astronaut who flew on board Apollo 9 in 1969. They were the founders of the Asteroid Day. Okay. Besides that one new mission for several years, it's in the framework of the Moon Village Association. This one, it's a non-governmental organization with the goal of the creation of a permanent global informal forum for stakeholders like governments, industry, academia, and the public interested in the development of the Moon Village. And this organization, it's an observer member of the UN COPUOS. MVA has decided to promote development of a neutral forum for multi-stakeholder discussions on lunar exploration, named the Global Expert Group on Sustainable Lunar Activities, GEXLA. And I was asked to chair this group for 2 years. At the end of the next year, we have monthly meetings online. At the end of the next year, we'll present to the UN a thoughtful document about what we think, what principles should be applied, what regulations, what new visions we should have for a peaceful and sustainable cooperation on the moon. Only next year will be 6 international missions to the moon. I mean national and international. In 2024, maybe in the beginning of 25, a new crew will reach the moon. A woman and a colored person, as the administrator of NASA announced. So the moon exploration will start again and will be very intensive. Russia and China have an agreement also to cooperate to put around the moon a space station and to explore together the moon, and not only them. So this is my new appointment, let's say, and obligation and information. But besides all these professional things, the life goes on, and the family and my descendants, they have a permanent involvement in supporting me and offering me a motivation for work forward. Here, of course, it's me, my younger son, who is here with his family. His family is all around here, with the 2 daughters, Anna and Ella, 12 and 4 years old, his wife, my grandson from my elder child, Cătălin. Cătălin now is the general director of our air carrier, Tarom. And of course, the 2 dogs we love and we take care of. Thank you for your attention. And now it's my pleasure to give the floor to my friends, the Emirati astronauts, Hazza Al-Mansouri. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, it's an honor to be here with the hero of Romania and side by side talking about our experience going to space. When we are talking about space, it's really something we, as humans, we always think about it, and we want to go there, and we always have this passion and curiosity and tap in our nature of exploration. Since our childhood, each one of us, maybe all of us, have that dream of going to space. This year in the United Arab Emirates, we are celebrating 50 years of establishment of this country. And this is just, we are younger than the first flight going to space, Yuri Gagarin, imagine that. Yet, we able to achieve this dream here in this country. We are really fortunate with our leadership, with the vision that they have about going to space. And people think that it just started maybe 10 or 15 years ago. No, it started at the beginning of our establishment of this country. This picture, and maybe you recognize some people here, from Apollo Soyuz program. They came to this country in 70s after establishment of our country. in 76 and talk about space exploration to the the founder of this country, Sheikh Zayed, may his soul rest in peace. They talked to him about space exploration, about going to space, how it is really been achievable here in this in the global community. And this picture, it is really famous here in our country, because this is the beginning of our dream, of our passion going to space. Talking about myself, I am now turning 38 this year. So my dream started when I was a child, looking at stars, dreaming about going to space, watching cartoons, Star Wars, Star Trek. All of these movies just sparked that dream of going to space. And from there, I just followed that dream. When someone asking me, what you want to be when you grow up, I said, I want to be an astronaut. Everyone said to me, it's impossible in this country. Even my parents, they said it's impossible. And I don't blame them, because it was impossible in this country 5 years ago. Anyone here, he will say that it's impossible. Yet, I didn't let go of that dream. I became a pilot because it's something that will let me get closer to that dream of going to space. And I just pursued that career and became a F-16 pilot, and one of the best pilots. I participated in different air shows. I became the third solo demonstration of the aircraft, doing aerobatics in F-16 here in Dubai air shows and different places. And I saw a lot of pictures of astronauts, cosmonauts all around the world. Yet, when I saw someone from this region, it feels different. When I see a Syrian astronaut went with the Russians in 80s, it feels like, okay, my dream maybe is possible, because I saw one from this region going. I saw also Prince Sultan bin Salman here in this picture. I said, okay, maybe one day I will be an astronaut. Then, in December 6th, 2017, I was in Dubai Air Show doing air shows there. After that, they posted this tweet from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. He said, it's in Arabic, sorry, but he said, like, if you have the ability and the passion to represent the United Arab Emirates to become in the core of the first astronauts, please apply to Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. So without any hesitation, I applied, because this is my dream. I felt that I'm ready. I'm now pursuing my career, top of the class and as a pilot. So I said, okay, I am ready for this. So I applied side by side with my colleague Sultan and Niadi. And after about 9 months of medical checks, psychological exams, and we went to Russia. We did the final exam there. So we did the same exam that Russians do for their cosmonaut. We have been selected, both of us. So we went to Russia, a historical place. First cosmonaut trained in that place, Star City. So it was something that, for us, like, wow, to reach there, that's a big achievement. And this is a video for a couple of assessments. It's basically this interview test. It's simulating the launching to space. So when you're launching to space, you will experience this acceleration. And we call it G's. That is like your weight times maybe 5. That's your weight. If you are 100 kilogram, you will weight on the launch about 500. That you will feel something in your chest. So it's really have to be ready, prepared. And they will assist you there in Star City. They will examine everything. They will also ask you to do a couple of assessments, how you can read, because after that experience of G's, maybe you get blurry with your vision. So a lot of exams there and tests. So we passed that one with flying colors, and then we started our journey there in Star City. So the objective from this mission is to participate in human space flight, to participate in our like astronauts and doing experiments on board the International Space Station with different agencies all around the world. So we started our journey there in Star City with the parabolic, or they call it comet and vomit flight, participating in doing our emergencies situations in case of something happen on board the International Space Station, like fire, toxic, ammonia leak, debris hitting the station and depressurized happened on the station. So we have to deal with these scenarios, how we can like deal with them as a crew. And also we worked with different cosmonauts and astronauts from all around the world, with my commander there, Oleg Skrbechka, and from NASA, Jessica Mir. That was our crew. We did a couple of experiments with ESA there at this time perception experiment. And we did also winter survival. Coming from this country, we are not ready for winter. So we started the winter survival training. It was in Moscow there. It was really cold for me coming from here. So it's simulation that we are coming from flight, and we landed in a remote area, nobody there. So we have to survive for a couple of days till somebody's coming from there and take us from that area. So we built our shelters. We did everything with signals to search and rescue, so they can't find us, and we have to talk in Russia. So it was difficult, but we made it. Here we're giving our location in Russian, in radio calls, simulating also a couple of exercises there, injuries and how to deal with that as a crew. So it was great. But you know, the important things, here in this country, it is happening for first time. So we have to record everything, archive everything, and make sure this moment for the next generation. Yeah. So after this one picture, I send it to my kids, and they send me that one. To me, it was like a push to keep going on that dream, because the preparation and the hard work is really tough. It's not an easy job. You have to do a lot of things in one day. You have to maintain a lot of skills. You will be the technician, the plumber, and the scientist, the reporter. You will be the doctor, maybe. You will help others on board the station. You have to maintain and retain all these skills, and you have to keep them with you. So that's really tough job. But when I saw this picture, I remember that there is a whole generation in this country and maybe in the whole world looking at us as a cosmonaut and astronaut, carrying their dreams also with us. So this one, a picture just before we went to Baikonur, where's the launching pad there, with our colleagues from Hamad Brash Space Center, and they give us a lot of support. As you notice, both of us, Sultan and I, we are from military background, so we are proud wearing our military costume and just formal suits, and just to present that we are really the abilities, the skills, the leaderships that we gain from our background has really helped us a lot in our preparation of this mission. It's really important. So always you have to thanks everyone that give you the help to become what you are here today. So this is one of the preparation when you are in Baikonur. This is the rotating chair. They call it in Cook in Russian, and just to provoke your vestibular system. Because when you are going to space, you will counter like weightlessness, which will affect your vestibular system, and this will affect your body in a way. So by doing this, will just give us a more ability to maintain our health on board the station for a couple of days, especially the first days. And this one here, we are not sleeping. We are just sitting upside down, mainly about 50 degrees down. This is to simulate the effect of fluid shift. So on board the station, in microgravity, what will happen? The fluids all will go up, and you up to your head, to your eyes, and this will give you a headache, will affect your vision. So by doing that prior to our flight, will give us more preparation on our flight, and like a kickstart. So this one is the suit itself, the so-called suit. As you can see, the so-called suit, it is here, it's like tied, it's rigid. But in the normal days, normal flight, it's not like that. It's normal like suit. The suit itself, it's a backup system. In case something happened on board the Soyuz in the launch or going back from Earth, from station down to Earth, it's a backup system in case there is a depressurization happened on board the capsule. This will become in this way. So it will maintain the pressure, the oxygen for us till we reach the ground. So it's a backup system. And this is totally different than the EMU suit or all-non suit that we are wearing for spacewalk. Totally different. So this one is a picture just before our launch itself, and the same day, side by side from the beginning with my colleague Sultan and Niadi. We work as a team from the beginning, and our objective is one, is to represent the country, the whole region, on board the International Space Station. So maybe you recognize a couple of people on that side. They are here with me. They are always with me. So my wife there, and my friends, my brother, my teacher. I invited him because, we become what we are here today, each one of us, because of the people around us, the family, the friends, the teachers, the enemies, even the enemies. They will give us something to become a better person in future. So I invited who I really want to be there to see what I become before my flight. So on this side, there is a glass. We are real quarantine. And make sure that I cannot hug my kids. And I know that I'm going to space, and maybe there is a risk that I will not come back. So it was really tough. A short story for this picture. When I was in the Air College, here in the UAE, in the third year, we were just getting graduated for our to be an officers and to be a pilot. I gave a presentation about space and space shuttle. It was in 2004. Back then, if you say that you want to be an astronaut, everyone will laugh at you. That's what will happen to me. I gave a presentation about going to space, about this human space flights, about space shuttle. That's what I was dreaming about, but it was impossible. And everyone there at that room, they laughed at me. 2004. After 15 years, I became one. So this is a message that if you have a dream, just work hard to reach that dream. Work hard on yourself. Make sure that you are always pursue your dream by looking to chances in your life. And believe me, you will achieve that dream. So that was the lesson for them. And the launch itself, it was really scary. I was on board that rocket going to space. And everyone asking me, Azza, what did you feel when you are there? I was focusing and just reading the instruments. I'm just focusing on doing my job. Yes, I have a couple of moments where I was remembering that I was a kid dreaming going to space, and now I'm just a couple of minutes launching to space. It was a moment that I will not forget. And this is a picture of our rocket going to space, taken from the International Space Station by NASA astronaut Christina Koch. It's an amazing picture. And I was waiting for this view, looking at Earth from there, looking at my country from the International Space Station, to be the first Arab on board the International Space Station, and to tell everyone that it's possible to work on your dream and to go to space. And I learned something. All of us, and us as cosmonauts and astronauts, we learn something when we're going to space. From this picture, there is no borders between countries. We achieved that because we collaborated, we worked together, we achieved going to space. This is something that we have to learn and to send it to the next generation and to tell them that it's really possible. If we are working together, we can achieve amazing things in this life. And to raise my flag on board the International Space Station and to do Superman. Still, we are kids, so it was a great thing. And I remember this speech with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid when he talked to me from And when I was there in that moment, he said that, Hazza, you are the fairest guy going to space. Yet, there is a whole of nation behind you. So after I finished my mission, we just opened again the selection and we selected 2 more astronauts. Currently, they are training at NASA there with NASA astronauts for future missions. So what I did on board the station, I did a lot of experiments. I participated in more than 15 experiments, some of them before and after the flight, some of them on board the International Space Station. These here with one of them, where we are just study the effects of microgravity in our bodies. And time perception with ESA astronaut, with the ESA agency, and here is, this is, we always are asking, we are going to schools and we asking, what is this? And they said, this is to check your weight. They said, yes, but how? On board the station, there is no weight. It's weightlessness. So we have to explain to them the engineering behind this machine. And it's really amazing things happening on board the station. Just looking at the bubbles of the water there, floating. And working together. Different people from different countries, different religions, different backgrounds, different personalities, yet we achieve amazing things on board the International Space Station. And believe me, we have to work together to achieve amazing things in future. To go to Mars, we have to work together. And yes, we're working together, but I have to take with me my heritage, my traditions. This is our tradition clothes there. I wear it on board the station. This is our traditional food. We package it in a way that it's really possible to use it on board the station. And we had that Emirati night there. And it's really amazing that I was there really on board the station, but there is a whole crew on ground working 24 hours to make this mission a successful mission. A lot of people, Sultan al-Niyadi, a lot of crew here and administrations, people working from different places, from JAXA, from Roscosmos, and also from NASA, to help us to achieve this mission and to make it successful. So after 7 days and 21 hours, I returned from Earth. I returned from International Space Station to Earth. And believe me, I want to stay there more. To stay in weightlessness, to experience this feeling, it was amazing. I want to stay more to conduct experiments, to participate more in this human exploration efforts, to go beyond that. But I have to come to share my experience with you, with the whole world, and with the next generation, because they're going to continue this mission. This is the impact coming from 400 kilometers. It was unpleasant feeling, but at the same time, you will feel relaxed that I'm coming back. So the Soyuz is burned out from the outside, the capsule itself, and I was happy to come back to Earth, to represent my country in the first flight, and to tell everyone that the dream happened. More than 40 years, we made it today. Yet, I want to recreate this picture. Not for me, for my kids, for the next generation, to tell them that in the United Arab Emirates, we dreamed to go to space, maybe with the establishment of this country. Yet, we did it in less than 50 years with the help of other countries to achieve that dream, definitely. So we recreate this picture with the Crown Prince. Because I remember that when I came back to the United Arab Emirates, I sat beside His Highness, and I told him, I want to explain to you about the rocket. I want to recreate that picture to everyone, because it's really important. Yes, we are a small country, a young country, but we have ambitions, we have dreams, and we achieve them. This year here, we are hosting Expo. We are celebrating 50 years of union. We are inviting everyone here in this country to tell them that it's with collaboration you can achieve amazing things. We are 7 Emirates. We came together and become the United Arab Emirates here. Always, as a country, we are promoting peace and tolerance to everyone, because this is how we can proceed and progress. And by that, we can achieve amazing things. Coming back to the space program in the United Arab Emirates, yes, we have astronauts. We went also to Mars last year, this year actually, and we achieved that. We became the 5th country. We have different programs, satellite developments. We have a moon program. Next, 2 years ago, we announced that, and inshallah, in a couple of years, we're gonna go to the moon as a rover there. We also signed the agreement with Artemis, so in future, maybe you will see one of the UAE astronauts participating on that effort. So when it comes to space, it is really important investment, because it is tapping in everything in your country, in every countries, because it is promoting collaboration. It is giving achievements also and chances for young sisters and the people in this region to participate in future efforts for human space exploration. So always the United Arab Emirates is trying to become one of these countries that's giving effort and giving their programs to participate. So I think I talked about like half an hour, and that's the plan is to give you a small talk about our programs, about my flight, and I think now we will have a chance to talk, maybe to interact and for questions and everything.
Well, it was amazing, really. Thank you so much once again, and I think all of us could say that we may stay here till the evening, maybe tomorrow all day long, and to listen to your stories. I will take advantage that I'm the host, so I will try to put the first question, and then I will open the floor to our guests. So, Doreen, Haza, you are heroes of your countries, and you are among the few people reaching the stars, being there, looking to the earth, and I want to emphasize once again what you said about looking to your country and the region without frontiers, without borders. I think this is the meaning also of the Expo. So I'm particularly proud because I've been the president of the BIE when Dubai won the competition with other cities to host Expo in 2020. And this is the meaning of the Expo. We are here, more than 190 countries, without frontiers, working together, sharing together our experiences, and trying to find solutions for a better future. Maybe from above, you will find solutions for a better life. And all together, we can do that. My question is, both of you, when do you think will be possible to travel out in the space without any, how to say, special preparation or training? Because the history of flying in the cosmos started 60 years ago. Doreen, 40 years ago, it was your flight. You were very young at that time. Now Haza. So everything happens so fast. How far is the day when we will reach the March without to have any special preparation? Thank you so much.
Please, and then answer.
So I think it's really exciting time we are living on currently, because we are watching SpaceX, Blue Origins, different private companies. They are competing to go to space, competing to take people, normal civilians, going to space. So I think this is a new spark, a new space race that's gonna spark that objective is to go to Mars in future. And to achieve that, it's really, there's a lot of difficulties, technical difficulties we have to overcome. Living, food, and the communication, how to live up to 700 kilometers. We are really still covered by magnetic field. On board the station, we are covered by that. So going beyond that, there is a lot of difficulties, but always we are in pursuit of knowledge to overcome all of these difficulties. And the other side is, I think it's something gonna happen. Probably, I would say, next 20 years. After 20 years, maybe that's optimistic.
So, well, you see that the outer space, it's not anymore approached only by governments. The private initiatives are strong. They move forward pretty fast, the space field. You see Elon Musk, you see Jeff Bezos, you see other initiatives, Sir Richard Branson, and so on. One of the missions with the spacecraft of Elon Musk was bought by an American billionaire. And he paid $55 million for one seat. They were 4. He paid for everybody. To fly into space people with no special training. People who didn't had any involvement in space before. And they flew around the Earth at an altitude of 575 kilometers for 3 days. They came back, they are healthy, they are safe. Of course, this is the beginning of space tourism, let's say. Now we have only the International Space Station up there in the sky. But soon will be some other space stations, private space stations. Okay, not only a Russian one, maybe they will rebuild their modules in the future after the end of the International Space Station. China has already a basic module into space and some other modules with docked with this module next year, and will have a full space station. Having agreements for international flights with other partners, by instance with the European Space Agency. I can tell you that at least 2 of the European astronauts, Samantha Cristoforetti and Matthias Maurer, who is up into space now from several years, they learned Chinese and they had common training with Chinese astronauts for rescue. So the new space stations, private ones, will be up there and you can fly privately for money. The only condition, it's your health and your resistance to the start, landing, and weightlessness. Not anybody could stand to this provocation. But if you are healthy, you may fly into space. And of course, psychologically, you have to be very healthy. So you see, everything is developing fast. And we'll see next year new private initiatives. Elon Musk is ready to finish the testing of the new huge space rocket, Starship, which could accommodate a crew of 20 people on a flight to the moon and maybe to the Mars as well. And he will use it, first by agreement with NASA to send infrastructure to the moon for the lunar base, and then to fly private people. And not only him. Thank you. Yeah, a trip to the moon. Why not? If you are well trained, and if you have money. Now it's a question of money, of course. It costs a lot, but the cost will decrease. Will decrease at the level that's maybe a medium person as a revenue could gather some money during a year to pay for one ticket.
afternoon. Thank you once again for this event. You are indeed heroes of your nations, but you're heroes of this world. My question is quite simple. What's the difference between cosmonaut and astronaut? And I went to Google, I recognize, and they said cosmonauts are trained by Russians and astronauts by USA. But you both are trained by Russians, and you're a cosmonaut and you're astronaut. Why is that?
Okay, I try to answer this question. Actually, it's no difference between astronauts, cosmonauts, and I said in France they name spationaut because they fly into space. Even I know the name in Malaysian, Angkasawan. By my name in Hungarian, Urhoyos. In German, Raumflieger, and so on. But the main names are cosmonauts and astronauts. There is no difference between training, between spaceflight. Try to imagine that a lot of Russian cosmonauts flew on board the space shuttle. Who are they? Cosmo-astronauts or astro-cosmonauts? And the Americans flew on board the Russian spacecrafts. Also astro-cosmonauts or cosmo-astronauts. So it's just an initial name given by two nations and nothing else.
Hello. You mentioned, both of you, that as a child you had dreams of flying to the skies or maybe to the space. Do you feel that lately, with the advent of newer technologies, younger childs are more attracted by some other things like internet or games or I don't know what, than being attracted by the flight or by space adventures? Is it something that you feel or not?
From my point of view, I think yes, they have that new things, new tools, iPads and internet and everything. It's a really very fast world we are living on now. Everything is going fast. But yet, when we are talking about space, I saw that in the eyes of the kids when I went to schools. They really turned to that dream that I want to go to space. So still, going to space, I think, gonna be there because it's tapping in our nature of exploring. As a humans, we have that instinct that we want to explore. So they will have that internet everywhere, even in space. So I think still the magic and the effect of space is still there. Yes, and I'm always seeing that example. When I was on board the station, I took that picture of Earth. If you think about it, we are above there. So when we are looking at Earth, we are looking down. This is not the issue. This is not the feeling that we had there. Sometimes I feel like that when I'm watching Earth from there. It feels that I am watching it looking down. But again, after maybe a couple of minutes, if I went to do something and come back again to the same place, it feels that I'm looking up, literally. Because of my microgravity and weightlessness, you will have the feeling that you are looking up. You feel that the Earth is hanging above you. So it's really amazing. So giving these examples to the kids, it just let them think more about it. How come? And then they want to go there now. Yes.
Just a few words. We really are a real inspiration for the young people. So I go also to the schools and they really look with open eyes who I am, what stories I have to tell them. First, when I go to a classroom, I ask, who wants to become cosmonaut or astronaut? And a few of them, 3, 4, raise the hand. After I explain them what means outer space, what means the new technology, what means to be as a person into the outer space, and ask at the end, who wants to become an astronaut? 2/3 of the class are with the hands raised. So it's one of our mission to convey our knowledge and to attract them to sciences. and attract them to a new field of activity, very promising for the future, space.
If I may, thank you again for being here and for the amazing presentations. I, for one, will definitely leave a bit smarter this room, because I learned a lot of new things. I have a question related to space traveling, because it's a very interesting concept. But we come to the economic aspect, which, well, the reality is that space traveling is very expensive. It's a lot of work involved. It's a lot of research involved. Do you think that if efforts were made by the national space agencies towards a better cooperation, these efforts would actually bring space traveling closer to the world and to the people, not only for a certain category who affords right now the very high prices, let's say, of a space trip?
So I think it's happening now. We can see that in private companies, that's making it more visible, more you can achieve that one as a civilian. You can go to space now, but it's really expensive. As time goes, I think it's gonna be less cheaper and possible for everyone to participate in that one. It's just a matter of time and matter of collaboration and the efforts. Here in the United Arab Emirates, it's a new thing, but we are always promoting for it, and we are pushing the countries around us to participate in this sector, because it's really the payback is really big, because you're gonna just build a generation of people here dreaming about space, and to pursue that goal, you have to go through STEM education, and now you will build up people, a generation of dreamers that they have the education and the knowledge, and at the same time that's gonna affect their economy, or a different aspect of countries. So I think that's what we are promoting for, and it's just a matter of time till we see everyone is going to space.
Thank you.
So I have also some answers. Space exploration doesn't mean only people into space. It represents about 7% of all the investment into outer space now, sending people to the outer space. But space economy, involving industry, development, innovations, inventions, and so on, it's a huge business today. It's a business of about $400 billion every year. And it's increasing every year with about 7%. This is the business. In the beginning, the governments involved a lot of money in the infrastructure for the outer space, because no one could involve money without a profit. But now, part of this infrastructure is used by private people. Private companies, billionaires, involve their own money, build their own infrastructures, and get benefits. Do you think Elon Musk doesn't have a profit sending people into the outer space? He has contracts with NASA, with other organizations, with private people. I told you about the Inspiration 4 mission. And of course, he will sell his services. In the same time, with his Falcon rockets, he sends at least every month, a satellite or several satellites into space. It's a huge commercial business to send satellites for different services. Private satellites, communication, remote sensing, and a lot of other things. Besides that, it's the military side. He has contracts also with the Ministry of Defense, Department of Defense in the US, and for a lot of money sends military satellites into space. So space is not only peaceful, but okay, we speak about peaceful uses because we accomplish peaceful space flights. So the business is developing, and it brings a lot of money.
I'm sorry. I have another question related to all these projects I read about setting up colonies on other planets. There are a lot of articles we find in the media. So, what is your opinion about these? I mean, are these such feasible projects in, I don't know, in our time, or
So one of the projects that we have in the United Arab Emirates is the 100 Years Project. In 2117, this is our strategical objective to live in Mars. In 2117, to achieve that goal, we have to see what's the challenges and to overcome them. Radiations, the atmosphere on Mars is really difficult to live there. The oxygen, the food. So all of these, we have to invent a technology to overcome them. So this is the objective, to see what we can do. Like on board the station now, more than 75% of the water is recyclable on board the station. The rest is coming from down earth, but the others is on board the station. We just recycle everything. We call it coffee of today is coffee of tomorrow. I know you have to figure out that now. So, but we have to live what we have there. So the technology on board the station is giving us that option, is to just maintain the water recycled and you just use it. So there's a lot of things we have to overcome, the technology-wise, to give us that chance to live on Mars in the future.
We are preparing the flight to Mars by flying on the moon. So the next moon program, okay, from the American side, Artemis, but there will be some other programs, will prepare the methodology, the new technologies, the new spacecrafts to fly to Mars and to live on Mars. Of course, will be difficult. The gravitation is different, 2.5 times less on Mars. What will happen with the human body during a long period of time? But at the same time, because I quoted Elon Musk several times, he said that maybe in 50 to 100 years from now, we'll have a colony of 1 million persons on Mars. And he's a visionary. I hope he will accomplish his dream, even if not him, the next generation after him.
Well, let me tell you, Haza, if you will need for the trip to the Mars, we may supply you water.
I like the water.
So we are here with water, and the people are asking me, why water? So we bring the oasis in the desert, and obviously without water is no life. Wherever we are going, first we are seeking water. So we can be your partner for the next 100 years and supplying water. Okay, so unfortunately we have to conclude our meeting today. You said that in the school you meet children, and they, after talking with you, they want, all of them, they want to be astronauts and cosmonauts. I'm not a child anymore, but I could stay here with you till next week and to listening your stories. So concluding today, today's meeting, I would like once again to express my deepest thanks. And we've been honored, all of us, to have you here, two heroes of your countries. You are hero of my country. And Haza, you are hero of my adopting country, because I feel myself Emiratis now. And I would like to ask you to taste the food. It's not prepared for the moon. It is prepared for the earth, but it's prepared by our chefs. So thank you once again, and looking forward to see you again. And wish you all the best, success and health, first of all, to be healthy. You, your families, and let's see each other in health. Thank you so much once again, and also for the audience.
Thank you all. Thank you all for listening to us.